Ever looked up at the night sky and wondered, not just about the stars, but about the metal behemoths that are breaking free from our gravity? Ever asked yourself, who really owns a spaceship? I mean, who holds the keys to those incredible machines that are pushing the boundaries of human exploration? It's not as simple as owning a car, is it? We're talking about something far more complex than just a title deed. We're talking about a blend of national interests, private ambition, and cutting-edge technology. So, let's peel back the layers and explore this fascinating question. First, let's address the obvious: governments. National space agencies like NASA, ESA, Roscosmos, and CNSA are significant players. They invest billions into research, development, and launch capabilities. When they send a probe to Mars or a telescope to orbit Earth, they effectively own that spaceship. It's a national asset, a symbol of scientific and technological prowess. These missions are often funded by taxpayer dollars, making the public, in a sense, a collective owner. But what about private companies? The rise of commercial spaceflight has blurred the lines. Companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic are launching their own rockets and developing spacecraft. They're not just building components, they're building entire systems. So, do they own the spaceships they launch? Yes and no. It's complicated. They own the hardware, the intellectual property, and the operational control. But the regulatory framework is still evolving. International treaties like the Outer Space Treaty of 1967 established that no nation can claim sovereignty over celestial bodies. So, while a company might own a spacecraft, they don't own the space it travels through. And then there's the question of who owns the resources mined in space. If a company extracts minerals from an asteroid, who does that belong to? This is a legal gray area that's still being debated. Some countries have passed legislation allowing private companies to own resources they extract, but the international community hasn't reached a consensus. Think about the International Space Station, the ISS. It's a massive, complex spaceship owned and operated by a consortium of nations. The US, Russia, Canada, Japan, and the European Space Agency all contribute to its operation and maintenance. It's a shared asset, a testament to international cooperation. Now, let's zoom in on individual ownership. Could a billionaire buy a spaceship and claim it as their own? Technically, yes. They could commission a custom-built spacecraft or purchase one from a private company. But the costs would be astronomical, and the regulatory hurdles would be significant. They would still need to comply with international treaties and national laws. The concept of ownership in space is also tied to the launch provider. If a government launches a private company's spaceship, there's often a shared responsibility. The launch provider might retain some control over the spacecraft's trajectory and operations, especially during the initial phases of the mission. Ultimately, the question of who owns a spaceship is a multifaceted one. It depends on the type of spacecraft, the purpose of the mission, and the legal framework that governs space activities. It's a mix of national ownership, private enterprise, and international cooperation. As we venture further into the cosmos, this question will only become more complex and relevant. The truth is, while we can point to companies and countries that build and launch these incredible machines, in a grander sense, space exploration is a shared human endeavor. We are all, in a way, stakeholders in the future of space travel. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.